So the government wants to bring some anti-Semitism laws into Australia, some hate speech laws to deal with some of the hate towards the Jewish community. And the phrase that comes to mind is, you never let a crisis go to waste. You guys know what I'm like. I'm always concerned about the government getting bigger, having greater overreach and greater surveillance over Australians. But allow me to state the obvious. Anyone that's inciting violence to the Jewish people, I mean, it shouldn't be happening. Incitement is a very clear definition. The incitement to actually do bodily harm to someone is not on, obviously, to anyone in Australia. Forget about the Jews. Anyone. Literally, any Aussie, any person that's here, any visitor, tourist that's being attacked physically, if there's incitement to hurt them, shouldn't happen. Now that that's out of the way, if you're criticizing Israel, that shouldn't be covered under this bill. You know, it's perfectly reasonable for people to criticize a country. You know, just because you criticize a country of Israel, that doesn't make you anti-Semitic. That's like that's like saying if you criticize Anthony Albanese, you're being racist towards the Aboriginal people. It doesn't make sense. They're not the same. One is a political entity, makes political decisions with its army, and another is a people. It's their ethnicity. They can't change that. Now, when it comes to these speech laws that are coming on the books, now that I've stated the obvious, the government isn't actually implementing and enforcing existing rules on the books. They're not actually enforcing laws with regards to incitement, laws with regards to people, the anti-terror laws that they already have, but they want to add more laws. And the problem is, this is going to pass because they've got, Labor, they've got the Liberal Party, the coalition are totally on board with this. In fact, maybe more so. And then you've got the Teals, like Allegra Spender, coming out and talking about this stuff. I totally oppose this. I mean, I know what's going to happen. A lot of these laws will be used just like they were during COVID against people like me. The intelligence agencies have already so much power. They know exactly who you are if they want to bust you. Ask Diogo. Diogo was a guy, he was at a protest in Sydney during, the July 24th protest in 2021 in Sydney at Town Hall. And they busted down his door. SWAT teams came in. His wife was pregnant. They have 10 ways through Sunday to actually track you down and get you. And what's insane to me is they actually have the power already, rules on the books, to go into your social media and actually delete posts, add posts. They can post as you. These are rules that are already on the books right now. And the government isn't, going after these people that are inciting violence online, emailing people or messaging people like David Adler from the Australian Jewish Association. They're not going after these people, and they just think that we're just going to trust them if they add more laws. You know what's going to happen? They'll add these laws. They won't enforce these laws, and it'll all be just for an election, just for the election coming up in a few months, and then they'll add more laws in the future. They'll come back to this trough, and they'll add more laws in the future, and basically always have them on the books. And guess who they're going to get used against? Just like the COVID laws, just like the Greens laws, where they pass them so that you can't protest outside, infrastructure in New South Wales. It'll be used against freedom fighters, right-wingers, people with Aussie flags. That's not on. That's not on. But that's what's going to happen. And that it's being played absolutely brilliantly by the government, by the media. And I'm totally opposed to these laws. We need more speech, not less speech. Again, incitement is incitement. There's a very clear definition in existing laws which defines incitement legally. But if you start changing laws to hate, because hate speech laws is based on hate. Who defines hate? A fact could be defined as hate. Me saying a fact to a trans person, that could be defined as hate, depending on, who you're speaking to, a judge before the law, a lawyer. And this is the problem I see. It's an ever-growing government bureaucracy, an ever-growing government power with these different intelligence agencies and government bodies. And it's going to always come after the people with Aussie flags, unfortunately. The last thing I'll say on this is there's a recruitment crisis with police right now. Like, it is a really bad time to be a police officer. They don't get paid enough. They've got a branding issue. They're not having, fair income Aussies that are joining at the large numbers that they used to. So they're starting to lower the standards. And I'm really concerned about this because, they should never have had those jab mandates. I mean, that's partly why they don't have as many officers working there as they used to. They've got a huge recruitment problem because of their image problem during the COVID years. And the social fabric has been totally torn, whereas they used to be really respected previously. And so this couldn't have come at a worse time for police officers. And so I'm looking at this as the perfect storm. And the government is just using both Liberal and Labor, the coalition and Labor. They're playing this like it's a political football. So are the Teals ahead of an election. And it makes me sick because good people on the ground, at the end of the day, they're going to be hurt. Again, Jewish Aussies, really any Aussies, they shouldn't be fearing for their lives. They shouldn't be fearing for incitement. They shouldn't be copying emails and social media posts from people that are inciting violence to kill them or their family or whatever. But that's the state of Australia. If you import the world, you'll get the world's problems. On top of that, a lot of this is homegrown. A lot of this is white nationalists. A lot of this is people in the radical left. Now, do you think they're going to prosecute the people on the radical left? Do you think they're actually going to go after them? Or do you think what's going to end up happening is they're going to have these laws in the books, people on the radical left that maybe get busted by them, get bailed out, but people on the right with the expanded definition of hate, including criticism of the state of Israel, they'll be gone. Social media gone, they'll be locked up, who knows what it could be. And that's the problem we've got right now. So it's becoming quite difficult in the political space. Again, you guys know I don't generally talk about the Middle East politics. But when they're starting to bring in laws that will constrain the choice of even being able to talk about it, I'm very concerned. And it needs to be opposed. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm totally wrong on this? Do you think that we should trust Big Daddy government? Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. But very concerning times for Australia.